Top of the morning to you. I'm Michael. I'll be right here with you in a second. Let's say hello to some of you. I'm back in my studio this morning. Lo and behold, I am here in the flesh. And I had that little coffee footage laying on my computer this morning, and I'll tell you the story behind it in just a minute. And so I needed a cup of coffee, and by golly, I made some this morning. So Pat Brooks, good morning to you, Pat. Yeah, you know what? When you're old, Willie Nelson, you're on my mind. Somewhere up here, I have little fiddle laying right here. Got a little thought I want to share out of that today. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong. I got to get back to my. There it is, right there. And so glad you're on. I'm going to talk about that. I just upended all my books to get to that, but it was down near the bottom. Donna Buckley, good morning to you. I started connecting with all these people. There's Pat with the book, just you say hello. There's Karen Binder, who sends stuff out all the time. See her crazy story artwork. I love it. And also Donna Buckley, I just cracked a tube on a new little tube of Payne's Gray yesterday and put it in my palate. So there you go. Beverly Schmidt from Greenville, South Carolina. Glad to have you on. Gene Anthalzer, Jimerson Anthalzer. I love that. And Lori Stanley, Handelmeyer, Henderson. Glad you're on this morning. Maggie Carnahan, always from Culpeper. Tissy, thank you very much. I got my tattoo from Key West. You ain't right. But then again, we went to Ferry High School, right? Okay. Appreciate you. Laura Logan, good morning to you. Glad you're on the show this morning. Chris Whitaker, Chris, I think you saw my note this week. I posted. I love your little smalls that you've been doing and the detail. They're great. Keep on. Alice Durham, great to have you here. Linda Schleitning, welcome from snowy Ohio, beautiful snowy Ohio. Mickey Hupp, welcome. Jennifer Yentz, Bob. It's too cold to go fishing here, but I am. I'm going to take my bobbers out and just put it on the fishing pole and see if the fish will bite. Denise Albright, good morning to you. Saturday morning from Exeter, California. Pat Lightbody, Wisconsin sunny hugs. There you go. Deborah Spangler, thanks for being on the show. Michael Ashburn says he's snowed in. That means you're going to have to put on your mucklucks and go out and feed the goats. So, Ash, my dear friend Ash, some people when they get I'm certainly older than he is, but as you start to get older, you tend to slow down. He's speeding up and then trying to be a different kind of farmer these days and have a place where people can come into that lovely Bean Blossom, Indiana. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll talk later this week. Raylene Culberson, glad to have you on. Donna Sil Barton, good morning to you. Glad you're on the show. Cam Lawson, thank you so much. Andy McBean, Pikert, Marie, K. It's K Marie. I like it the way you sign your name. Skeeter Pal, good morning to you, my dear friend, and I'm glad you're on the show this morning. Hey, it's showtime, top of the morning, and I've been missing my paintings, and they turned up today, which is pretty good. It's not like Carol says they had legs, so it's showtime. I did this in 2017, and this was I started doing a rooster head way early on, but this is sort of the model for the rooster on my mug. I sort of took after I'd painted him, I sort of just looked at him and put him in, and then I sent him to Aaron and said, let's make him black and white. Now, you can see there's a difference here. Well, you can't see my mug probably. Let's see. Can you see it? No. Without me spilling it. See, there's a difference in here. So this was the third or fourth, maybe the 15th. I don't know. You know me. I'm doing right now. I've got 1,399 bees painted. So let's get moving. And I started a rooster. I'm going to do a black and white rooster first thing this morning. Haven't done one in a while. I've done some colored liquid paint, but I'm going to do this one with Bombay ink. Chip and I've been talking about ink this week, and I think I've used up all my Higgins, but this is P.H. Martin. It's called Bombay Black India ink. I also do have my Sumi ink, which I keep here on the desk too. And I might do a drip in my little cast iron skillet just to have it here, just in case. Just in case I need some refill, I'm going to put a little splosh right there. Let's see if you can. Boop. Oh, wow. That's enough to do Bad thing about a black skillet is you can't see where the ink is, but trust me, there's a puddle of it right. You can see it moving around a little bit right there. This is a little butter pat skillet. It's a little pattern, salesman's pattern. Ben Getz, my friend, consults with this company sometimes, and we both love cast iron. I'm a in fact, if you ever get any old cast iron you want to get rid of, just send me a note, and I may take it off your hands and teach some young men to cook in it. If you're done with it and it's too heavy and it needs to be reconditioned, well, let's talk. Um, anyway, it's so fun to bring it back to life if you can. Sometimes it's too far gone, which is unfortunate. Um, all right, let's see what we got here. Deborah Spangler, I don't think I said hello to you. Elaine Barnett, welcome to the show. Jennifer Cayley, good morning. And all right, so here we go. So I've penciled this, which I rarely do, but every now and then I'll just take and throw a pencil out there and make something happen. And so I thought it might be fun. I like this piece of music. Let me make sure you can see it. That's in there. You go. That's good enough right there. I've got a little bit of water in my jar this morning. Here's my setup. This is my lovely, brand new, clean, never been washed ball mason jar. And I keep my everyday paint. But I've actually introduced another little piece of water today because I know I'm going to be painting some different watercolors. I don't want to get up and run out and come back. So I brought in a little extra water here to just wash my ink out in or pick that up. This is in a wee, there it is right there, a wee yogurt jar. If you haven't had wee yogurt, I'm telling you, it's expensive. So I'll splurge it down there, but man, I love it. It's really very custardy, rich in texture. I'm going to use a bamboo brush here, a small one maybe, or maybe this number 3 right here. Oh, it's a large one. Oh, just use that rascal. Look at that. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some pen on here first, just like this. And I'm going to use my my medium point. I do have a new fine point, Lamy. There's my new fine point Lamy. This is my medium point Lamy. I'm going to use my medium point for the back end of this rooster. Let's do it first. I'm going to do him in a fine point. Here it is right here. I'm just sort of going to follow this pencil line that I put on there. I'm just trying to, and I taped this paper around the edge. You see that white artist tape there? Just grabbed a little piece of it. I never put it on paper just like this. I never do. I hardly ever say ever, but I put it in the shirt first, right here, and just pull it in. I take some of the adhesive off, so when I do put it down, there's this wild thing that happens. It doesn't something cotton out of the paper, so that's why I do that. So if you haven't been doing that, that's the way it's done. Let's just go ahead and round this guy off a little bit here, bring his waddle down here like so, and then bring this down. And I'm not going to do too much to him. I'm going to do his leg in this Lamy, and I'm going to do this other toe turned out here like that, so his toes kind of split. And I'm going to do the same thing right here. Bring this down and then bring this foot back and then come in here with a little bit of there's a pretty good toe right there, and then a back toe. I like that back leg up like he's walking, like he's looking back around. And I wrote myself a little note down here because you saw that coffee thing that I did. I was shooting a commercial yesterday, and I decided that the best way to shoot this commercial was to say in my voiceover, the first thing you need to do is make coffee. And so seriously, I went, I'm just going to go make coffee, and I'm going to shoot the coffee. And I took seconds out of that. You saw the long version of that, maybe those of you who popped on. And so here was the scene that I shot. Got it. So I literally made coffee, and those were on my computer this morning. I thought I'll just run those at the beginning of the show. Now, here's what I'm going to do here. I'm just taking this bigger pen, and I'm putting some. This is a medium. That was a fine point, and I'm throwing a little bit of this medium down in here like this. Um, I might put a couple bigger pieces here, and then that's enough right there. That's probably all I'm going to do to this rooster. I might. I don't even think I'm going to get rid of the pencil. I think I'm going to leave the pencil in this one just to say it's okay to show your understudy work. Now let's go in here and grab a little bit of water and come in and just make this rooster happen. I'm going to come in here and just drop some water down like this, tie it together just a little bit. I don't think you can see that water going in. That's kind of sad, but I'm following some of this, and then I'm also just making my own tributaries and roads as this pops in right here, just like that. And then I think what I'm going to do is that's probably enough water, and I'm going to take my Bombay and throw a piece of this music back in. Let's see if I can get that music going again. And then just whatever music you like. Let's see if this is beautiful. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to take it right here from about 5 inches up. Boom, boom, boom. The first drip, see it right there. That drip hit the water. Just stop. Just now, those of you who say you can't. Here's where I'm using a jar of water. Just rinse this out. Start now, we'll roll our brush in a little bit of this over here. Just a little bit more. A lighter. I just brush it a little more. Just a little. Come here. Put in the eye. There, see it? Back that up. Sword. This is a I think I'm done. Don't you love that? Come on. If you haven't played like this in a while, Saturday mornings are great for this. I'm back home in my home studio. Glad you're on the show today. Thank you so much for being here. Nancy Fowler, I don't think I saw your name or said hello. Do they make Payne's Gray color ink? I don't think so, but you just saw me do it, Donna. Did you see this? Let me tell you how to do it real quickly. Here's what you do. Grab yourself a little dish. Here. Come on. I just had one here. Grab yourself a little bowl, a little dish. I have one that's here's what I have right here. This will work. Sorry, I'm up. Said I wasn't going to get up, but I did. There's a little palette right there. Grab yourself a little dish like this. This one probably needs to be taken down and scrubbed with some Power Shot and then put in the dishwasher. But here's what I would do then. I would take a little bit of water. This may just come to life. No, I think it's dead. Good. Okay. I'm going to put a little water in there, just like this, just a little water. And then I'm going to take a little of that ink and put it in here just like that. And that's going to give me, I think, probably the Payne's Gray that I'm after. You see that right there? It's just a beautiful gray, and I've toned it down. Now, here's what you do a lot of times when you're working. Certainly, if I were an Asian bamboo painter, if I were painting Japanese bamboo stalks, I would probably have 3 of these or 4 of these filled up. I would have my strong ink in here. I would have diluted twice in here, 3 times in here, 4 times in here. So I would remember that, or 1, 2, 3, 4, whichever way I decided to go on my palette. So if I said, okay, maybe I blocked these 3 and just wanted to use these 3, or maybe this was my strongest ink. This is a little porcelain. I think I got this at Cheap Joe's, and literally, I mean, it's like $1.50. I think it's probably $4 or $5. I don't remember, but anyway, sometimes when I pile stuff up on the desk, I just shut my eyes. Okay. Got a great note from Cheap Joe's this year. I think I'm probably going to be back in the catalog, but also just they love the fact that you guys order stuff from them sometimes and say hello, and thank you very much. And so, but got a nice note from Brian, and stay in touch with Megan up there. The Canuga workshop's going on this year. I'm not part of that this year, but I am in spirit, just simply because. Um, whoops. I didn't turn my phone off this morning. So, and as a telemarketer, probably trying to sell me some paint. Okay. Now look, if see, just let that tape get pressed down and it rips the paper. So see, all right. So here's what I'm doing. Put your number 1 in here. This is what you would find. You would find 3 or 4 bowls. You put your strongest concentrated ink in here, and then maybe a drop of water, 2 drops of water, or 2 drops of water, 4 drops of water, 6 drops of water, and then put in a dropper of paint. And so that'll dilute it to the texture that you want, not the texture but the darkness. You see that work right there? That's kind of fun when that works like that. So here's that again. This is the one that I just did. Look, I'm going to roll my brush in it, and just if I come in here now and just go like this, you see how cool that is. And then if I go in here and get a little of my strong ink, watch this. If I come back over it with a little strong, see that? See the difference right there? And then that's a great example of using that. And you're thinking, hey, you messed this up. No, remember I taped this around here. So, all right, I'm going to come in right now, and I'm going to just go and brush some of this. This is the pen itself down here. I'm going to add 1 piece of color to this black and white. I'll show you what I'm going to do in just a second. And here's a good example for me using that. Watch, I'm going to go back, and which one did I have it in right here? Go back and get this, and I'm just going to build up a little bit on the side here, just like this. So I think that was your question. Can you get Payne's Gray ink? No, but you can make it. It's not ink, by the way. This is liquid watercolor. So, or no, this is actually ink. I'm sorry. I do have some black ink, black liquid watercolor. You could probably filter that down just a little bit, but I tend to think that you'll get what you want if you just did it with some water and let it dilute like this. So. There we go. I'm going to take a little of this light stuff and just give it, messed up right there a little bit, didn't I? A little tap like this. And now I'm going to take some dark just on the ends, and watch this. I'm really trying to be light with this brush, because I'm still using the same bamboo brush, and I'm just bringing this in. I'm going to put a toenail out here like this on these, a toenail here on this one, toenail here, back foot's lifted up on this one, and I'm going to come in with a little darker wash right here under there for some shadow, and right there for some shadow, and tie that back into the earth. As in the words of Carole King, I feel the earth move under my feet. I want to ground my birds sometimes just by doing that. And there he is. I'm going to take this and clean up this beak, which when I rolled it up there a minute ago, my brush rolled across it, and so I'm going to clean this up. Watch this. I'm going to come in here and do this. I'm going to come out here and do this. A little more dark right in here, and I'm going to do some just hash marks on that too. And there's a little nostril input. Come in here. I'm not trying to get rid of my lines. I'm not really worried about lines. I never have been. Lions and tigers and bears. That's a great example of a little black and white roux. And I tell you what, I think it's going to be is that coffee I smell is probably how I'll label that. Now watch this. I'm going to pull this tape off after I coated it with I took some of the adhesive off, and now look what I have. Boom. I have this. Boom. I have this. Voila. And there is a nice little framed matted piece that gets cut here and here. And how big is that? I'm thinking that's close to 8 inches. It's probably 7 across this way, 6.5, and it's probably 8 this way. So I could go 8 by 8 easy and really have a nice little matted painting there, and I like it. And I told you I was going to do one thing in color, so here that goes right now. I'm going to grab my other bamboo brush, wet it in clear water, and I'm going to go right here with this orange. What? Yeah, I just want one piece of color. This is my Andy Rooney approach to watercolor. Andy Rooney was a woodworker, and there you go. I'm done. And Andy Rooney was a woodworker, and he would always put a different color piece of wood in all his furniture. Not all of it, but a lot of it. It was sort of his trademark. So there you go. And I think this is going to say, let's don't think. Let's just do it. And I've got some stuff to show you this morning here. And then I'll see if there's, here we go. Is that coffee? I smell. It is, and you do. Okay. Now, I'm going to sign it right here. 24. There you go. And I'm done. That's all I'm going to do with that. I'm not going to, that's not all I'm going to do. I'm going to take my pen and put a little more cross-hatching in these feet just to give them a little more life. And maybe some dark in here. See how Payne's gray that turned, Donna? That's a perfect example of just a beautiful wash. A little bit of, you just have to play with it until you get the feel. And then always, I did a scrap piece of paper out here. Look at this. This is a great look. Not to be with this rooster, but there it is. Okay, so I'm going to lay that back down and we'll see what it looks like. It's going to dull up a little bit, but it's going to keep some of the darkest place where I use less water, but push the ink into the paper. Remember, this is 140-pound Kilimanjaro, 100% rag cotton, and so it'll do some strange stuff on you. So there you go. I like that bird. I like that rooster. Let's see if I got some questions, some more. Let me put in a search here. Q. Whoa. Your music track interferes with your speaking voice. It's crossing over. Thank you. Now that I get to it. I think I had that too loud. So, oh, wait a minute. I know why. Why is this thing not working? Hold on a second here. How weird. Yeah, my microphone should have been coming right through there. I apologize. Let's try this again. My microphone shut down here. Boom, boom, boom. Huh. Oh, I see. Maybe I don't see. Well. It didn't switch over this morning. Okay, why not? Should have flipped right over, and it didn't. All right. Now I know why it's doing that. Now you guys are all telling me the same thing. Sound check. So music is cutting off my audio, and it's because my microphone has defaulted here this morning. So see, thank y'all. I should have gone to that earlier. So yep. I'll fix it. Sorry, rats. All that conversation, and who knows what I said. It's picking me up from a microphone over here. Now it's just clipped in. I think we're going to be clean now. Does that sound better? It finally switched over to the track. Does that help, folks? Okay. All right. I hear it just fine now. Yeah, okay. Well, my microphone had defaulted, and so it switched back. Remember, I've been out of my studio for a week or so, and so rats on that. I apologize. All right, I think I'm back to the microphone that works, or the same microphone. I just had to restart everything. Here we go. I wanted to share a couple things about paper with you this morning, and it's going to show up right here. Uh, I got to ask a lot of questions while I was on the road last week, and thank you so much. I've mailed out all my auction paintings, except one, and I'm finishing a large piece for a purchaser, and so all those go together. But it was a fun thing to do. I'm at 1,399 bees on my way to 2,000, and I made a couple notes for you today. I'm going to paint a couple more things this morning. I'm going to paint another bee. I'm going to paint the 1,400 bee here this morning, and I'm probably going to do him on Soho paper. But I wanted to just share with you because when you get more than 4, 5, 6 emails or notes through your Facebook page, people are saying, miss the kind of paper. Some of you have already bought it. I picked up just on a fluke a few weeks ago this Soho Urban Artist sketch pad. Here it is right here. It's called Heavyweight Drawing Paper, 50 sheets. This is 4x6. They make a 6x8. I don't know if they make a bigger one. They probably do. They probably make a, why wouldn't they? It's the heaviest drawing paper that I've ever used. For a long time I used this to do a lot of my little paintings on. It's the Strathmore drawing paper, but it's only 80 pound, and it's also not. It's a natural, or maybe even a little bit of a tint versus what I would call a stark white. You see the difference right there. This is fine, and I love it for pencil and black ink and charcoal. I even like it for watercolor. And I like any paper when I'm out and about. But I get a lot of questions about what is this paper and why do you go from the paper that you say you love the most, which is Kilimanjaro, to other papers. The reason is when I'm traveling with my small bag, very rarely do I want to carry this under my arm or somewhere or get it all fuzzed up in the airplane or wherever. So I'll just decide that during that week I'm going to paint smaller. My journals usually fit in my smaller bag. I have a large bag, but you missed the point of being slim, trim, and on the move, right? And so, thus my painting yesterday. Buff chickens can't eat chocolate. So, but this is my Kilimanjaro. This is a flip one. The other one I had up here a minute ago was the same paper. It's just a glued down pad. So this is probably my 4 favorite pieces of paper that I carry. This is 2 of them in my carry-on bag or with me every day if I head out. And I'll show you what they are. One is a moleskin journal. That doesn't count. It's not my Japanese journal, nor my moleskin daily workbook, which is a notebook. So here was this paper that I used for a long time. Still do. Keep it here. Done lots of notes on it today. Okay? And those are for my show today. I made an outline on this paper. I still love it. This one I just bought about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And I picked it up and said, whoa, it's heavyweight drawing paper. It's 135 pounds and it is bright white. And so, get off my grass, Hopper. Okay, this is 1,399 right here. Work smarter. Little bee carried a bucket of pollen home. This is a little sheep I just did, which I don't do. 4 legs. You see, I hid one. It's just 3. But I love this paper, and I love it because it's bright white, and I like it because it's heavy, and it has a little bit of a tooth. I would consider it probably not a real high hot press, but it's got some hot press qualities. The way the paint will mushroom in, and so I really like it. So those are those 2. If you want to write it down again, you want to write it down the first time. It's Soho Urban Artist, and I'll just tell you. I'm sure you can get it from Cheap Joe's. I think they carry. They may not carry it, but I will tell you where to get it. Is Jerry's Artorama will carry this, and you can get it online. Some of you have already ordered it. You told me so. This is the Fabriana size of paper that I carry. This is not my favorite paper, but it is on small pieces. If I'm going to do fishing flies on this, or if I'm going to do a little bee on this. The way that this paper is made, I don't like the continuing pattern. It feels like I'm painting on wallpaper that's the same pattern. But if it is small, I can take it. If I'm on a 9x12 sheet, I feel like I get lost in the pattern sometimes, and it comes through my colors, and I don't care for it. So that's my complaint about Fabriano. This is a 140 cold press, but look at the size. This is 4x8. It fits so nicely in my little bag. and slipped it down in there with a pen and my Altoid box and a water brush, and I'm ready to go make art somewhere. So, and this is a block. Or this is a block just glued on. I think it's just glued on two pastes. I think the ends are free, yes, and the sides are glued down. So I really like that. I'll take my pocket knife, slip a piece off, and I'm ready to go. So there's three kinds of paper. Here is another piece that I like. It comes in a little pack. This is Fluid 100 cold press, and this is 5x7 paper. Really good art paper. I really enjoy this. I get this from Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. There it is right there. Boom. Sometimes they have fluid paper. I like fluid, but I like Fluid 100 better. Why? Because it's rag cotton. Why? Because I've become consistent with my colors and water on how to paint with rag cotton, and I like the look. So that's the reason for that. And I got one more to show you. And that's this little hard book that I do. And this is this one right here. Some of you have seen this many times, but this is it. It's called the Handbook Journal Company, and it's made by Speedball. And you'll know that because it's got a little hand on the book right there where my finger is. I put my name, my phone number in there, and then, I just paint little pieces on it. This is where the YMCA painting is. It's fun to stay at the Y. Stop singing, Bobby's in the trap. This is a little painting that never went anywhere. I just put it in here one day. I think I was on an airplane. It's just the way life is. He might clear the old barn, but there is a mean bull in that field. There's people in your life like that where you go like, yeah, but you're probably going to get a flat tire driving over there. And you go like, wait a minute. So I probably had a conversation with somebody who this was a little parable that I painted. The sower goes out to sow, and the seed falls among the hard path, and the birds eat it, and then it falls on a little bit of a soil on top of the stones, but it grows quickly and then dies, and it gets into thorns, and then the parable was about wheat, but the verse after that says, he who has ears, let him hear. So I thought of roasting ears, corn. A little crab in there. There's a black and white bee, and that's just done with my new fountain pen. The day I was trying this fountain pen out, I was in the art store, and she said, give it a shot. And so I did. And so string on the cello, some notes I took last week. I visited, and then there's a fishing fly, and that's as far as I've got, except I cut a couple out of here. So I'll cut them out of this. This is, I think this paper is it's almost 140. It may be in the 120 range, but it's white, and it is cold press. So that's the paper that I'm running with these days in small forms to take off and move ahead. All right. And I said I was going to paint a bee, so I'm going to paint it on Soho for you just so you can see that happen here, just like this. And I'm not even going to rip the page out. This is just normally how I would do it. And then I wanted to tell you that someone asked me yesterday why I painted the painting that I painted, and I shot a little photo, and I did that. Remember, there was those of you who saw my post yesterday, you saw you saw a bunch of little ramekins with chocolate in them and some Bing cherries, and you saw it on the counter. Carol had a tea. These dear friends have been meeting together for the last 20 years. Once a month they gather at one of them's house and they have tea. And if you don't have community like that, I wish that for you in the future. Just some people who come together and they take care of one another, and they pray for one another, and they say hard things to one another, and they laugh together, they cry together, they throw parties for each other. It's just pretty cool. So I get lost, but I came back, and the next morning I came down, and I said, oh my gosh, they left me breakfast here, and I was getting ready to fix an egg, and I looked over, and there was all that chocolate. And I like milk chocolate. I don't like dark chocolate, but there was a couple pecans there, and I ate a couple of those, and then I thought, I just painted a Rhode Island red the day before, and I was thinking about, I liked Rhode Island reds when I was growing up, but my favorite chicken was the Buff Orpington. He just looked like, I took Martha Stewart a painting one time. I don't know if she got it, but I handed it to her assistant. We were on a TV shoot, and she had Buff Orpingtons, and I wanted her to have one of my Buff Orpingtons, which they're not that fun to paint because they're all just like blonde. I mean, they're just like poof, and they look like they weigh 40 pounds, but I love their peaceful, docile style and their laying. And so we had them when we were in the mountains. And so I just thought of that. So what I'm saying is this. Sometimes my other email that I get a lot from folks is, I don't understand how you come up with what you paint. And so if you're taking notes, write this word down: observe. Just be aware of the world you live in. Look at everything. Take a look around you and go, wonder why that flower's coming up and that one's not. Or wonder what that bug is doing and that bug is dead. And 2 weeks ago, little mud turtles came out from under my porch, the size of my silver dollar. I actually put my silver dollar down, and it was bigger than the turtle. And I'm going like, why is there a turtle living underneath my back deck? I know it's wet under there, but maybe that's the answer. So be observant of what you find and what you see, and I think that's the first thing that will make sense. And so I wrote that down, and then part of it was paint what you love, and that's what was going to take me into Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle today. Because sometimes I think, wait a minute, I read something about this once before, and it sounds very arrogant sounding, but I read something and said, wait, not only did I read it, I wrote it. And so art created out of service will never hold the eye like art created out of love. And this is Pat's. This is Pat's art here. This is just how Pat's hand works. This is kind of scary to me because when I see the things that I print, I'd made a good doctor have to go back and go, what did I write on there? But I believe that some of the best songs in the world are the ones that were written out of great hope or great pain or great experience. The richest melodies are connected to the heart. I think some of the best paintings I've ever seen were captured from the vision of the heart of the artist. And art is just that way. You should learn to paint and produce every day. The reason I'm doing 2,000 bees is because it's not for arrogance. I'm going like, I'll do 2,000. They're like, no, it's because now I can close my eyes and I can see every little wart and foible on a bee already at 1,399. I just see it. And that's what I did with roosters for a long time. That's why I can just sit down with a pencil and go anyway, upside down. I can just paint their feet in my style. Look, there's a billion rooster painters out there, and I'm not trying to compete with them all or be better than them all. Roosters are my storytellers. They're the people who connect me with other people. I want to be connected with other people. That's what life's about. It's not just about me sitting behind the desk sometimes and going like, yeah, I did. There's another piece of work. There's another piece of work. There's another piece of work. It's not that at all. It's why this is a grasshopper I'm holding in my hand. And so, I told you a few weeks ago that I think I might start painting some grasshoppers. And so this one, I really kind of used some different colors. I didn't know what I was going to say. And then I went, just get off my grass, hopper. And I love those run-on sentences. You see what I just did with that rooster a minute ago? Is that coffee I smell? It is, and you do. 2 answers to a question that is missing a comma or missing a thought or picked up the wrong way. It's my boys and I, it's from an old skit. My boys and I used to say, they'd say, Dad, what do you think about this? And I'd say, boys, I don't think I know. And they would go, I don't think you know either, Dad. And so there's that twist of phrase that I love because it captures attention. So grasshoppers, they are fascinating to me. And they also are fun to put on a hook and watch a trout take them down the river. My point is this. I fall in love with something in the art world and I stay at it long enough to sort of not master it completely, but fishing flies. It all started with me tying flies, with me watching a fly fisherman cast when I was a kid and say, I've got to learn that movement. I got to learn that flow. Watch river runs through it. And if you don't want to buy a fly rod, your heart may turn to stone a little bit. You might want to get it back to flesh, as the book of Ezekiel says. And so you may have a hard heart. If you watch that movie, and yeah, there's a lot of crazy story there, but if you watch that story and you realize how he learned the river and the fish, and you have to think like a fish to catch a fish. You address the fish upstream. And so there's all these things. So Carol bought me the fly tying equipment and I tied flies. My goal, simple goal, tie 3 flies, catch a fish on each one of those flies. And then if I never tied another one, that'd be fine. It was a part of, I learned all the little pieces. So if I had a problem out in the field, I could just go, here, I'll just fix that real fast and I'll change to this. So part of that is that now to sketch flies, I make up my own names for them because I just don't want to fall in line with what everybody else has already painted. Why? I'm just not wired that way. That's the creative heart that I think I've been given. And that's part of my style. So my thought in this whole thing was, if you produce work every day, it'll sharpen your craft, it'll sharpen your skill, and then you'll be drawn deeper into this passion. And you might shift gears. It's okay to go wherever you want. At some point in time, though, master 3 or 4 things that you can do. I always say, if you were sitting at the bar this tomorrow with me after church at Bricktops in Charlotte, North Carolina, having brunch, we'll probably go there because the lobster bisque and the waffles and chicken are just out of sight. And so we sit there, and for those people to hand me a small, they slide them across the table to me, for them to throw one of these across and say, "Hey, good to see you here, Roo." And I'll say, "Thanks." And then I'll turn one of these into a little rooster, and I'll pass it back to them. What would you pay if you were sitting at the bar? What would you pay? What's your go-to? Do you need a giant studio and every brush you own, or you just need some little something to go da-da-da-da-da? Met a lady in a jewelry store about 5 years ago, and I walked over and I picked up one of the cards, and she said, "Oh, you need a card? Those are just blank." And I said, "No, I need a blank card." She said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I'm going to draw something on it." And I drew her a little rooster and said, "This is how you can contact us." And she said, "Wait." She pulls one out, and there's really great paper. And I'd never seen a person use that before, that you could just write a note on there you want. And she drew a picture of her little schnauzer dog, just like, and I went, "Okay, we got to talk." She had it down. And so that's my push to you. So what's that one little go-to thing, And so here's the thing. The reason I don't do commissions is if somebody wants to commission me to paint a rooster, that I just say, "Just take off. I want one of your paintings." That's different. But if they want a painting of their pet rooster, George, that looks just like George, that's not my gift. And I know that's not my gift. So I say, "No, thank you." Because it'll never look like them just taking a photo and running it through an app that makes it look like a sketch and then printing it. You'll be happier. So that's kind of where I am. I don't want to stress. You don't want to stress. And that's not where my heart is. So I believe that any art form that's created out of contract or service will never be as powerful as the ones that keep you up at night. The things that I wake up at, or I'll come in here early in the morning and I'll write myself a note. So that's why I wanted to go back to that today. I did see this, and some of you have probably seen it, and that's in the book Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. You can find that online. I think I have several here, but find it online. Pat Brooks, who's on the show today, did all the illustrations in that. It's so awesome. Let's see. Picture speaks louder than words, Jason says. Yeah, they do. In fact, 1,000 words less. Let's see. I can hear you, not just clear. Let's see if I'm going back here. Is it still working? River runs through it. I've watched it many times. Scenery is just beautiful. Yeah, there you go. Okay. It is a fantastic movie. Observe everything and then think like an artist, people. And I keep this on my desk all the time to remind me. I actually keep it right up there on top of my little violin sculpture that I made. Think like an artist. It's pretty fascinating when you start realizing that this is how I believe I've trained my head and my heart to think, is to look at things and go, "I like that, but what if we did this?" And so what if comes in there all the time. And that's in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle also. What if? What if you did this? What if you did this? What if you did this? What's the worst that could happen? You waste a little paint, you waste some paper, you fail. So what? Failing is how you learn. It wasn't Edison said I made 3,000 mistakes or failures, or 2,000, and I had one that worked, and we got the light bulb. So I just think that's pretty powerful for me. This is 140-pound Kilimanjaro, by the way, and I just love it. You see what happens when you just this was a light pen sketch, and then I just took it and went purple. What if I just used purple for his hair? And that's one of my cups. I think this was the one I might have used for the cup. Let's see. Had a couple things. You ever seen this little deal? I saw it yesterday or 2 days ago, maybe. And it's been around for a long time, but I was reminded of it again yesterday. Let's see if I can put it on something here. What have I got here that I can write on just so you can see it with a big pen? You've probably seen this 1,000 times. You see this? Earth. And if you look right in the middle of Earth is art. There it is right there. You see that? And if you take art out of Earth, you just get I love it. Somebody thought through that pretty well. Said, if you just take art out of Earth, you get And so I do think that's the way my life could be right now. And I tell Carol all the time, I say, thank you, my dear wife, for pushing me towards something that I didn't think I would enjoy or knew very little about. I'm a barbarian when it comes to art. Um, I which leads me to another phrase that I want to share with you this morning. There's an old Celtic proverb. If there's, and I guess it's old because some old Celtic wrote it, and I guess they called it a proverb because they thought it was a statement that needed a wholesome truth. But it says you should never give a sword to a man who can't dance. And so, did you hear me say this a while ago? I said I'm using my sword. I'm using my pen as my brush is kind of a sword, and I'm sort of lunging at it and pushing and pulling, and I'm sure there's people watching going like, he really doesn't know how to use that brush. And I'm going like, but I know how to use it for the type of dance that I know how to do. And that's what makes me a little bit of a barbarian in the art world. I wasn't trained in art. I'm just now learning some of the precious things about art. But the creativity side of me, what if it runs ahead? That's okay. I'll come back and pick up those other pieces. I don't know. I see art as more of a wheel, and I don't think it's just one highway that you get onto and go in a straight line. I think you can get on that spinning flywheel at any place and pick up, and it goes in every direction. I love the fact that I can step on here and do this and then come back and learn that. I love that I can learn this first and then go down here and spin to get this. But I don't think I got to get on here and then ride it 200 rings to get there. I think I have to stay busy at doing it. Does that make sense? That's sort of my illustration today. And I think most blacksmiths got into making shoeing horses at the turn of the century. I think you said to say we got to, but we also probably not. Probably before that, before they trimmed their horses' feet well, it was implements to do the farm. It was axes and saws and knives, and you had to skin the buffalo and you had to chop the wood and you had to make saws to make the barn. So I think they went through all this process. Then you realize, wait, a blacksmith isn't a farrier. Why don't we get people trained in horse feet? They all started here and then they spun off in different directions. So that's kind of my blacksmith world. And now I make sculptures later and things that most blacksmiths would go, why'd you make that? And I said, just because it's beautiful and just because I can. And so sometimes that's why my art connects to me so much. All right. Pen, papers on the road. When I take a pen on the road, I think I told you those already. I'm loving this little Lamy fine tip. Some of you already own this pen. I still sketch with my '05 Pentel Intergels, and I still carry my favorite of these brushes is the Aqua. And so, you got a resource thing on my website if you want to go there. And I just painted this the other day while I was on the phone. Never paint under pressure. All right, there we go. Yeah, Jason's got that deal. He will run off in a million different directions. He will break away from his normal architectural. I see your comment there. He will, the guy teaches architecture in high school, but he'll break away from that. And I've seen that in Chris's work. I've seen that in Pat's work. Pat has some detailed things that must take hours and hours and hours to do. And then she'll do something frivolous and cartoonish and animated looking that I'll just go, oh my gosh, this is quite a breakout. Some of you'll do that. And it's really fun to see what you do. Okay, so Gene Anthalzer says, I made watercolor brushes. I made brushes with sticks, duct tape, part of a German Shepherd's tail. I'm loving the fact that you used a German Shepherd's tail. I just think that's great. Some of you know that one day I just went out and got a little stick off the dogwood tree. There it is right there. I keep it here. And by the way, this is a great pen to sketch with. If you haven't used one of these, this is a great pen right here. This is I wish it were bowed this way. I wish I'd have thought to carve it this way. Maybe I can, but I'm going to use it this way right now. This is just more of the black ink, and let's see. Let's just put on some music here and see if it works this time. I think it's still staying on the right. Looks like it's staying on the right. All right, I believe it's right there. Okay. When you're out in the woods and you got a stick, you got a little ink in your pocket and in your toolbox. Why would you carry ink in your toolbox? You should. In your tackle box, in your first aid kit. I even made a brush one day. Where is it? It's here somewhere. Let's see. Where's my brush I made? Is it here? I'm looking for it. Just give me a second here. I might can find it. Rats. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. I had a brush that I made. Here it is. Look at this right here. Here it is. Look at this brush. I just cut one of Carol's oil painting brushes down to a little nub. See it right there? And then I sharpened the other end of the brush in a pencil sharpener so that I can go in there now and get these little colors just like this, smaller. So this is not a pencil. It was a paintbrush handle that I just ran through the pencil sharpener. So see, I'm always thinking, how can I change this and make this happen? Now let's see if I can paint with it. I'm going to turn the other end around, wet it a little bit, and just go stick it in this gamboge right here. So I just stuck this down in here. It reminds me of a little bit of a shaving brush, or a, what's the word I would call it? A stencil brush that you might see. So it doesn't take much to be creative. I love that. Gene, thank you for sharing that. But this German Shepherd's tail is pretty daggum funny. I love it. When I watch you paint, I can tell your left hand circles around several times before it goes in the paper. Oh, that's Jason, yeah. Pen is mightier than the sword. Yes, but I carry a sword. Just ordered your book. Can't always watch your shows. Should be fun to have that. Well, thank you. Paddle, appreciate that too. Much love from Ireland. Thank you, Alan. Great to have you on the show. What's the greatest, weirdest medium tool you've ever used to paint with? Jason Nicholas. I think, wow. I'm thinking a regular palette knife, or a scraper, or a spatula, and it was a paint removing spatula that I used for a large piece I was doing, and I just went, instead of getting a plastic palette knife or something like that, I have a set of palette knives that I don't use for watercolor. I had them one time thinking I would, but I also have seen Joe Miller do this. A lady showed him this one time. I think she was a nun. I think she was a sister at this little convent, and she was buying some watercolor supplies. And he loved how she had done her skyline, and she had taken a small palette knife and a piece of Velcro, not the loop part, but the fuzzy part, and she had stuck it on the knife. And I think I have one made up here somewhere like that. And so you take it and lay it down, and it's like having all these little pieces of brush that just made her fields in her grass, and she could break the mountaintops and the skylines with it. It was genius. And so I tried that once, and it was pretty cool. I think the most fun thing sometimes is just a straw. Not only will I paint with the edge of the straw, but I'll blow through it and spray it out for coral. So that's always fun to paint with. I love to keep this because it fascinates me that people think, oh, I have to have, a paintbrush. But by the way, some of the paintbrushes that I have are really pretty special too. And so when I'm holding this number, what is this, a number 14 or 16? This is a number 16 pseudo sable brush. When I'm holding this, I mean, it is pretty fun to dip this in the water and touch it in a little bit of French gray, and then come in and just use a big brush like this to touch edges of it. It's kind of like using the end of your finger, but it's really fun, and you can pick that up just like that. And I'll go in here and put a little ink on there and just finish this head here. I like sometimes just using an oversized brush, because what it does is it leaves some little foibles on the outside that are really fun, which bees have anyway. So now I can come back in with my little pen, and let's use a fine point. And I'll just use this one here, this Lamy, and come in and just put some little pile around here, a little hair sticking out, and create this bee. Stick bee. Stick bee is going to be 1,400. How about that? See, I did it. Painted my 1,400 bee, and I did him with a stick. Didn't know that was going to happen. Wasn't expecting that. That's not the bee that I was going to paint, but I like him, and he's almost kind of perfect. Stick bee. And just for fun, let's go get some. Let me reach over here on the wall and get my little what's this? Get my little bee piece of bee hive bee palette. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off here now. I don't know why I left it on there. Let's take this and let's put it right here like this. And then where's my pencil? Do I have a pencil here? Yeah, I can get this pencil down in here and just do a little bit of hive action here. Little template. Why not? Why not? I can't think of a reason. Why not? And the thing there is just grab this brush that I made. Here it is right here. This is cut down. I crimped the ferrule. I jammed the brush down in there, and I'm just going to go in here and probably come in like this. And I'm done. So there's the stick bait right there. Little perforated edge is pretty clean. This is 4x6 paper, and with one bend it rips off very nicely, just like that, and it'll frame in. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think he needs a little shadow here. I'm going to grab my little bamboo. No, I just grab my stick again. I paint him with a stick. There he is. I'm going to grab this and just put it in my orange paint here and just get a little bit of orange on here to bring a touch of orange right to here, just in a little depth in this right here. I hope I encourage you to experiment and let your heart go and play and be joyful in the process. And I got to read you a couple things before we go this morning. I've been reading a book, and I've been helping a couple of gentlemen storytell and learn to tell better stories. And I send them some prompts and ideas every day. And we're meeting again soon. And I'm not a master at it, but I've done enough of it to be encouraged. Let's see, what did it, my book? I said I was going to read you something now. I don't know where I laid my book down. Here it is right here. This was made, I think it was actually written by an old pastor years ago, but I wanted to share something that Norman Rockwell said. And here it is right here. Listen to this. This is Norman Rockwell. He says, an artist like me gets out of his work what he actually puts into it. If you're really interested in the characters you're drawing, if you really understand and love them, the people who look at your sketches will feel the same way about them. That's Norman Rockwell. So you think of Saturday Evening Post or Saturday Post, and you think of all those people that he drew around the Thanksgiving tables and all those motifs and all those scenarios and sets, and you think of their faces and the little boys fishing and the couple on the bench. You think of all those, and he saw those people. He probably grew up with those people. He lived around those people, and he loved them, and he painted them, and he fell in love with how he painted them, but he fell in love with them because of them. There was a heart to the character, and I really do believe that about him. And you look at his work and you just go, oh my gosh, it's a little bit of Andy Mayberry to me, which is just a simpler, innocent time, a silly time, but it's kind of that style. Um, and then I wanted to read you something else. So that's from Norman Rockwell. An artist like me gets out of his work exactly what he puts into it. If you're really interested in the characters you're drawing, if you truly understand and love them, then the people who look at your sketches will feel the same way about them. That is powerful. I'm not just doing this because I saw somebody else do it. I do it because I love it. You see how it goes back um, to that? Picasso said this, and remember, this book is about storytelling, but I want you to know that art and storytelling are woven together in a deep way. Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once you grow up or once he grows up. And so you think, wow, that is just pretty dang powerful. How do you remain an artist? And then here's another one right here that I wanted to tell you. This is not finger pointing, but it is at me. And so if the shoe fits Cinderella, wear it. But here's what I think about art. Um, like, you know, bees just turn out to be bees, and I'm painting them differently every time. So here's the thing: the imagination is among the chief glories of being human. We have been given this imagination to run with. When it's healthy and energetic, it ushers us into adoration and wonder. And sometimes, Eugene says, even the mysteries of God. When it's neurotic and sluggish, when your imagination turns to kind of like just, oh, I don't know if I should paint. I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I should read this book. I don't know if I should see the movie. I don't know if I want to get up. He says, when it's neurotic and sluggish, it turns people, million of them, into parasites and copycats and couch potatoes. So we lose our zest. We lose our zeal to go out and paint. And that's why I'm never without a brush. I'm never without a pen. I'm never without a pencil. I'm never without a small pad of paper, regardless of what it is. If I am, I'll walk past a restaurant and I'll sit down and have a cup of coffee, and I'll make a coffee ring on their tablecloth, and then I'll say, let me pay my check. I'm going to take this tablecloth with me, and I'll take the paper tablecloth with me, and I'll cut it into little pieces, and I'll sketch on it the rest of the day. That's innovative. Huh? And by the way, I have a roll of it over there, a piece of it over there that the guy said, I said, could I have that can I have this tablecloth? And you're busting the table. And he says, here, I'll just bring you a fresh one. He gave me a fresh one. I love painting on this. It's really just like this right here. It's the art paper that you had when you were in the fourth grade, and it came in big rolls, and they put it in the class. And so you can generally always find a piece of paper. So that's why I keep 3 or 4 pens in my pocket. And I have young people, anybody younger than my age is a young person. I have them laughing at me all the time. They go, hey, does anybody have a pen? And I go, yes, I do. I have 6 in my pocket right now. Well, can I borrow one? No. Well, that's kind of selfish. No, these are my art pens. You don't carry a pen? Why not? And so I'll say, here, stand right here, and you write something down and hand it right back to me, but I'm not letting you take it over there. And so I'll figure out a way to say yes. But at the same time, I'll say, so you made fun of me that I have 6 pens, but you don't have one, and now you're trying to borrow one of mine. It's sort of like the person says, you know what time it is? And you go, I do. And then you walk up. So, well, I was at you. I said, why don't you have a watch? You have a phone in your pocket. And so you're being a little sluggish there. And so that's so petty, and I don't really do that all the time, except for the pens and pocket knives. I don't loan out my pocket knife for sure, because I sharpen it in such a way that you really wouldn't want to cut paper with it. And I don't want you cutting paper with it, and I don't want you cutting your flesh with it. So there's some crazy things that I do. I love having you guys on just to ramble too. Yes, and Karen, that Soho paper really rips off very easily. Did you see that? I was an anthropology major in college. Love the old cave paintings. Woo-hoo-hoo. Blow your hand on the wall. Hey, by the way, I started out with Cheap Joe's ugly brushes, Donna, so I love them very much. And Cheap Joe's art stuff, Joe Miller started a program when he started that was based on brushes for Vincent. And because Theo, or Theo as they call him, Theo, Theo, his brother always supplied all the. Vincent couldn't really run a business, and he was a tormented man as a painter, but his brother kept him in art supplies and helped him live. And so there's a program that Cheap Joe's Art Stuff has called Brushes for Vincent. And you can actually donate to that. And they have a fund where when they find underprivileged children, or when they find children in other countries sometimes, or even schools that don't have art supplies, they will make sure that those children have brushes and some art supplies. It's called Brushes for Vincent. And so it's a great program. And so we should never be without some art supplies that we could use. Use what you love, paint what you love. And I haven't done this in a long time, but I want to implement it again. I got to thinking about it when I was in Florida. I used to say, last sip, take a ponder, a mental wonder of who you're going to text or call this Saturday morning, and just encourage them, and or maybe do a little painting for them and ship it to them. So many of you send out cards and notes. It's unbelievable. You're fantastic at it. Thank you so much. So share it with somebody else. I appreciate you all, and I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. I'll go through some of these comments today, and I'll post a B. Do a QQQ search. All right, I'll do it one more time. Here we go. QQQ. And do they make paintings gray? Sound isn't correct. What is that? What book is that, Roo? That book that I just read out of is called Experiential Storytelling. And I think it was written in, yikes, I don't know, maybe 2000, maybe before then. It could have been in the 90s. Experiential Storytelling. All right. Cheap Joe's came out with a 3x5 in Kilimanjaro journal. Yes, I saw that recently, and so I'll probably have to grab that one. All right. Hey, love you bunches, and appreciate you guys being on the show.